We're going to tackle a subject today that is a little bit difficult for me, and you're going to laugh when you hear it. The subject is autumn and making autumn fun and special, which nobody needs to try to do because autumn is always fun and special, always. Autumn is usually my favorite season. Like, I absolutely love it. I can remember being a kid and walking through parking lots on cloudy days with all of the red and yellow leaves blowing across the asphalt in the middle of October, and I'd be like, yes, this is my jam. I don't like summer very much, even though I'm a summer baby. I always feel like I count down the days until September, even though September's kind of hot here, but it's like the gateway to autumn. This year, I'm really not looking forward to autumn. We're already almost in it, getting close to the equinox here, and I have not been looking forward to it. I've been kind of dreading it, honestly. And the reason is that my father passed away in June, and I don't really want time to go by. I feel like the more that time goes by, the further I will be from him. And the last place I saw him was summer. So I don't want summer to end. However, I understand and recognize that time moves on. And though I am in no way suggesting that one should hurry the grieving process along, I know that my dad wouldn't want me to lose the joys in life that I already have. I know he would want me to do my best to live my life to the fullest and be as happy as I can be. That was easier in summer. I don't know if it was the fact that I was going somewhere and paddleboarding and like getting out in the world and trying something new that maybe kind of made it so, but I think it was just more that it was still the summer. And so I still felt like it hadn't been that long, like we were still not separated by time. And now that the season is changing, I feel much more hesitancy around moving forward, and I'm having a hard time finding my joy in the season. Therefore, I decided to try to motivate myself with an autumn bingo board. I am so, I'm a Cancer Virgo, and that Virgo part of me is really good with lists and systems and creating things, whether it's games or otherwise, that will keep me motivated and keep me doing things. So I really lean into that when I'm in a place like this. I probably should have made like a 9 square bingo board, but it just looked too small. So I went for 16. And we're going to go through them today. And hopefully this will be my way of, again, kind of having some motivation toward completing these tasks. Not necessarily all of them, but I want to get a bingo. I haven't even decided what the prize for the bingo will be, but I want to get a bingo. And I sure would love to get I can't think of the word when you get them all. I kind of would love that. That kind of sounds good to me. But you know, we'll do our best here. So if you are like me, going through a rough time right now and having a hard time diving into the new season, if you don't like autumn at all, or honestly, if you do like it and you just want to play along, you're in the right place. Welcome. Let's get started. We've got on this board, in no particular order, a day of art. This one is something that I used to do this semi-regularly. Honestly, my brand for a long time was writer, photographer, artist. And I was really getting into creating visual art early on in my work here. I was doing a lot of self-portraiture. I was doing some watercolor paintings. I remember things kind of took a shift in early 2023. I felt very strongly that my time with my dad was coming to a close. And looking back now, I don't really understand what triggered that, because nothing was necessarily out of the ordinary with him, but I just remember feeling very strongly that things were changing. And I remember one of the last art projects that I did was a watercolor painting that was supposed to be the map of his life. I was going to add more details to it, but I never got around to it. It was just too painful. And then a few months after that, in the spring of 2023, my very beloved little nephew, who was 4 years old at the time, had to go through open heart surgery. And that was an incredibly terrifying time. And I would make watercolor paintings of hearts to help me manage my anxiety. After that season ended, by the time we got into summer 2023, I stopped doing art and photography, both. Like, I just stopped. And I haven't worked on anything since then. Everything that I have done in the past has been shoved into drawers, and I don't really know what to do with it all. So what I wanted to do was give myself a day to turn on one of my favorite YouTube artist stations and like a draw with me video, and just draw in watercolor. No expectations, no, not something that I intend to put out into the world, just something for me to get the creative juices flowing. So that is on the agenda for this season, and a day of art. It doesn't have to produce anything, just painting and having fun. We also have here, make a boo box. Now, if you don't know what a boo box is, it is just a box, a basket, something that it's kind of like the autumnal version of a May basket. And technically, you're supposed to create one for a loved one or a neighbor and leave it outside their door. And I absolutely love that idea. But in the last year, I have been much more self-focused and trying to create things for myself after a lifetime of caregiving and doing for other people. I really want to turn that care back to myself. So I want to make myself a boo basket this year. I tried to do one last year, but I didn't start shopping for it until the last week of October. And by that time, all the stores are filled with Christmas stuff. So now's the time to do it. Just an alert, if you want to do this for yourself and you want to make it Halloween or like autumnal themed, then you need to do it now. Like, don't push pause and go shopping. And this time I want to do something. I'm not sure, I'll come back and share more about this, but I definitely want it to be very meaningful and useful, utilitarian even, but also kind of fun. So we'll talk more about that when I get there. I'll try to make that one of the earlier videos so I can share that with everybody before they do the whole holiday turnover in the stores. But make a boo box, that's one that I think I'm gonna do this season. Carve a jack-o'-lantern. Now this one, I'm not super sure that I'm gonna get to. I have never carved a jack-o'-lantern all by myself, just for myself, for no other reason than to have a jack-o'-lantern. And so for that reason, I kind of like the idea of doing this. And I think I might go for it. I think it's totally fair to buy like a ceramic jack-o'-lantern and just put a candle in there. However you get it done, you get it done. Boom. Now, of course, decorate. I will talk more about this one in a separate video, but it is really important to me to decorate my home for the holidays. Just because I live alone and am single and don't have children doesn't mean that I deserve any less than a beautiful, comfortable, festive home. I may not have a big family, but I am still a family of one. And I really strongly believe in creating the same joys for yourself that you would do for a partner and or your children, even if you don't have children. If you would do it for them, you do it for yourself. So decorating is at the top of my list. That is something that I can pretty much guarantee will get done. Hike under autumn leaves. Now this one, you cannot go wrong with this. I can't not do this. I already had a plan for where I wanted to go. Unfortunately, there are some wildfires in that area at this time, and it's too early to go anyways. The leaves are not changing yet, but I have the feeling that the trail that I was looking at will probably be closed by the time the leaves start changing. So I may have to pick out an alternate location, but this one is really important. I just find the changing of the leaves to be the most magical part of autumn. It's so beautiful. So I definitely want to do this one. Hygge Day. Okay. I'm probably anglicizing that terribly, and my Danish grandfather would be rolling over in his grave right now. But definitely going to do that. 100%. High likelihood, in fact, that I will do it 3 or 4 times during autumn. This, for me, involves making a little bed in here. This is my sofa, putting the blankets and the pillows out, getting all my favorite drinks and all my favorite cups, and having my knitting nearby, and turning on Netflix and just knitting and watching TV all day long. You don't get more Hygge than that. Knit a sweater. Oh, we are gonna knit a sweater, girl. I actually am almost done with this sweater. I just finished a sweater and I have 2 more on the needles, and I intend to finish both of them before the end of autumn, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to. One of them is sleeveless and one of them is made in bulky yarn, so if you're a knitter, you know that those 2 sweaters will go very quickly. But that is a high priority for me. Make a fall themed latte. I would say that one of the highlights of my day is my morning tea, which I usually have around 10 or 11 a.m. And it used to be Earl Grey tea. That was my go-to for years. And now it rotates a little bit, but right now I particularly love this black tea that is infused with vanilla and then English breakfast tea. Those are probably my 2 favorites. And then sometimes I'll throw some chai in there, especially in autumn. But what I would like to do is take that a little bit further, like really kind of go for it and do something special, like make a pumpkin, like sweetened syrup kind of thing, and create like a pumpkin chai latte, something like that. And it's a little thing, but it feels like it might be a fun thing to do to kind of elevate something that I already enjoy. And I don't know, I just think that it would be a nice, easy, low-hanging fruit, but also something that would enhance the enjoyment of this season. Autumn movie marathon. Okay, this is just a no-brainer. This pretty much is going to happen on its own. This is when, this might end up happening on one or all, because there will be more than one, no doubt, Hygge days. I have a list of movies that I watch every single fall, and also TV shows that I really like to watch during autumn. These things include, of course, witchy movies like Practical Magic, Harry Potter. Many times I will watch the Hobbit series. I don't know why. It's usually the Hobbit trilogy rather than the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but maybe both of them. I also love to watch Wednesday from Netflix. Oh my God, I love Wednesday. I have a lot on this list, so I will save that for another video, but we will definitely be having a movie marathon. And I think it would be nice to create something where I kind of stage it a little bit more instead of doing the usual, hang out on the couch with my iPad and Netflix. I think I would like to try to do something where there's like a special snack involved, or maybe get a caddy for snacks, or like make it so that it's an actual movie-like experience, like as if you were going to a drive-in or a movie theater or something. So I'll work on that. Wear witchy outfits. Okay, so this is also a no-brainer. Like every autumn, this is what I do. I live for I live for the time where it's semi-normalized to wear my witchy outfits. Oh, you know, like this. I legitimately have a dress that I sewed myself that is actually, like, I call it my witch dress. It is a very witchy dress, and I have a couple other witchy dresses that I really like, and it's just fun. Like, if I had the guts and enough money to completely rehaul my wardrobe, I would dress like a witch or a hobbit pretty much every day. I don't know what to tell you. That's just my vibe. Like, I want to look like I just came out of the Shire or ran out of the woods after casting spells. I don't understand why anybody would want to dress any way different. Maybe I came out of the library at Hogwarts. You know, I like the dark academia look too, but I could just do that all day, every day. Okay, bake an apple pie. I actually started baking an apple pie every autumn, I think around the time of the pandemic. And I found this amazing recipe by Annabelle Margaret. She has an amazing channel here on YouTube. I would say that her apple pie is possibly the best apple pie I have ever tasted. It is so freaking good. And it's also huge. I'll make another video on this, but it's, let's just put it this way. A traditional pie tin, it does not work. Like, you need a bowl. You need a bowl for this pie. However, there's a lot of sugar in it, and that's something that I'm trying to cut back on. So my challenge for myself this year is to make that pie, but to change out some of the ingredients, to maybe use coconut sugar in place of the refined sugar, and see if I can cut down a little bit on the butter. Also, I'm gonna make a much smaller version. This time around, I'm going to cut the recipe probably into thirds and just make 1/3 of a portion of it. We're gonna downsize just a little, but I'm really excited to try this. Read a witchy book. There are so many witchy books out there, and it's really funny for me. I am very picky about my witch books. There's a lot that I have read that people love that I do not love. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to put bad mojo out there. Like, there's nothing wrong with the books. I just don't like them. And I always have these ideas in my head about what I want to see in witch books, and it's so rare that it actually happens. I would say one of my favorite witch books is Practical Magic. And I actually like that book way better than the movie, believe it or not. So that might be the one that I read. Just gonna go for fun, whimsical, and that I moderately like it. I don't need to love it. Or I'll just reread Practical Magic, who knows. Road trip. Now this one may or may not happen, but I actually would really like to go on a fall road trip this year. I already have a destination in mind, and I already know what I would like to do on this trip. I don't want to talk about that too much right now, though, because I don't know if I'll be able to do it. And also, it's still kind of in the germination stage, so I don't want to fuss with the energy as it's emerging. So we're just going to leave that out there and hope that we can make it happen. Okay, we've got 3 more. Sew a pair of pants. So I actually have 3, I don't know how you would say this, enough fabric, 3 different kinds of fabric for 3 different pairs of pants. I have some patterns from Sew Liberated, which is a pattern company that I love. They have some really cute pant designs, and I am dying to make these. I bought this fabric a year ago and I still haven't made them. And I think part of the reason is I'm very nervous. I have made pants one time before and they barely fit. I mean, like I literally had to give them to someone else because I couldn't practically wear them. Like, they were not comfortable. Ultimately, it's just like with any big new skill set that I'm learning in sewing. It's always going to be scary the first time, and the first go is not going to be great. And that's just the way it is. So, but I really, really want to finish a pair of pants this season so that I have something to wear for the rest of winter. I'm so excited about all three of the fabrics. They're beautiful, and I just really want to get these pants done. At least one pair. Shopping spree. Oh, honey, we're so doing this one. I'm not going to put a lot of guidelines on this. I mean, obviously, I'm going to work within my budget. What I think I would like to do is go to Trader Joe's and pick up some fun fall items. And then I'd also like to buy some clothing. I don't tend to buy new clothes very often, and I mean like hardly ever. And in fact, a lot of my clothes are really, really old. They don't necessarily look old, and that's fine. Like, I think it's great to keep clothes for a long time and not participate in fast fashion. But sometimes for me, it becomes more of a restrictive thing or a lack of self-care thing. It's like, well, this is an easy part of my budget to trim. It's something that I don't care that much about. I mean, I do. Like, that's the weird thing. I love playing with clothes and fashion and all of that stuff, but I also have a lot of issues with my body. So there's a part of me that kind of tries to distance myself from that and just put on the same old things every day that I know will be comfortable. And the truth is, I don't feel good about myself in a lot of my outfits most of the time. And I would like to. I would like to have more clothes that, like, when I open my closet, they're just screaming at me to put them on. I would love to have that experience when I'm getting dressed in the morning, and I just don't. I have like a couple outfits that I really truly love, and that's it. So I want to buy a few pieces of new clothing for myself to kind of put energy toward this intention of evolving my wardrobe into something that brings me more joy and makes me feel better about myself. And last but not least, this is a low-hanging fruit, easy one to get off the list. I want to give myself a tarot reading. And I know, like, a lot of people might say, well, why don't you go get one? I do not like having people read my cards. I don't like it at all. It makes me very uncomfortable. I much prefer to do that myself and to do the interpretations myself. And one of the reasons that I chose this is because I've always loved playing with cards, oracle cards, tarot cards, whatever, since I was a teenager. And it makes me feel, well, it tends to make me feel more connected to my spirituality. I have really been struggling with that connection. I'm really struggling with feeling connected to myself, to my spirit, to my sense of source. And so I'm hoping maybe if I do this, it might give me a little jump start. I don't know, we'll see. So there you have it, 16 things that I'm gonna try to accomplish this season that I hope will help me build some structure around having a joyful autumn. I know that probably sounds weird to some people, like, why do you have to plan to have fun? I think in the grieving process, things are just different and hard, challenging, and I don't expect anything to work the way that it used to. I don't expect to feel the way that I used to, especially this first season. We're leading up to the first holiday season without my dad, and I have a lot of feelings of anxiety and sorrow around that. And so I feel like I need some structure. So this is what we're going to use. All right, I hope you join in, and I'd love to hear if you were making your own autumn bingo board, what would be on it? What kinds of things do you do every autumn that bring you joy? What kinds of things do you want to do this season? I'm sure you noticed some big glaring omissions in mine, like visit a pumpkin patch. I decided I don't want to do that this year, so I kept it off the bingo board. But I'd love to hear what you all are planning to do and what you have done in the past that you enjoy. And I will keep you updated on my progress with all of these. Fingers crossed that will keep me accountable. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me.